Hey guys, so what we're going to be looking at today is the Ultimate Website AI Assistant, and I'm super excited to share this with you. So as you can see, the Ultimate Website Assistant has access to these three AI agents that we've made on n8n. The first one is a calendar agent. Now this calendar agent allows people to book consultations with you from your website by first checking the availability on your calendar, recommending time slots to them, and then booking them in for consultations. Now the second agent is a RAG agent. This agent basically allows your assistant to have access to up-to-date information by simply uploading that information into a Google Drive folder. So every time a new file gets added to the Google Drive folder, a workflow happens in the backend that basically just grabs that file and uploads it to your assistant's knowledge base. Now the third agent is a ticket agent. Let's say in scenarios where the user on your website wants to talk to a human directly, or they ask questions that your assistant can't answer, the assistant will use this agent to create a support ticket inside your email, which would basically give you the name of that person from your website, give you their email address, and even tell you details as to what their inquiry was, so you can simply reply to them via email and follow them up yourself. So now let's run through a few demos so I can show off all the tools and functionality, and then I'll even show you how you can download this workflow for completely free, plug it into n8n, and get started straight away. So as you guys can see, I have a dummy website over here that I haven't actually built yet, but this bottom right chat widget here is the actual assistant that we're building. It says that the name is Kia's Assistant and that we're here 24/7, and the first message you get from the assistant is always, "Hi, I'm Kia's Assistant, how can I help you?" So let's go ahead with the first question. What services do you offer? As you can see, it thinks for a couple of seconds. And the output that we got is, at Comexa, we offer comprehensive AI and automation solutions to streamline your business processes. Our services include expert strategic automation consulting, yada, yada, yada. What are you hoping to achieve with automation? So let's say we're happy with these services and we want to book a consultation. I want to book a consultation. So as you guys can see, the chatbot starts thinking again, and then it responds with, great, let's get started. Can you please share your name? So we'll just say our name is John. It's going to start thinking again, and the next question it asks is, can you please provide your email? So we'll say the email is john@gmail.com. So we'll send that through. And then as you guys can see, it says, cool, John, can you tell me what your goal is from booking the consultation? So let's say the goal is to build chatbots. We'll send that through. As you guys can see, it thinks for a second. And it gets back to me saying, can you tell me your preferred date and time for the consultation? It's going to be 30 minutes and it's going to be in Sydney time. And today's date is the 14th of the 3rd. So I'm going to say Monday at 5 p.m, please. So as you guys can see, the chatbot is going to think again. And it will respond with, it looks like 5 p.m. isn't available, John. How about one of these alternative time slots? 10 a.m, 1 p.m, or 3 p.m, Monday, March the 17th. Let me know which one works best for you. And if we take a look at the calendar that the assistant is going to try and call on, you can see that it was identified correctly that the 5 p.m. time slot on Monday is actually not available. As you guys can see, there's an event called Jokes from 5 to 6 p.m. But as you can see, the rest of the day is pretty free, and it decided to give me 3 time slots during that day. Now let's say 3 p.m. works best, so we'll just say 3 p.m. please, send that through. And then the chatbot will try and confirm my details with me, saying, just to confirm your details, your name is John, your email address is john@gmail.com, your goal is to build chatbots, and the consultation will be for Monday, the 17th of March at 3 p.m. Sydney time. Is that right? I'll say perfect, yes, please. And just like that, we get a confirmation that the consultation has been booked for Monday. Now, if we come back to the calendar, you can see that there is a call booked for 3 p.m. with John, consultation John, and the description is build chatbots. Now, let's say I wanted to talk to a human agent. I can say, cool, this is great, but I'd really like to talk to a human, please. As you guys can see, I can't spell, unfortunately, but it should be able to figure out what I'm talking about anyway. So it says, cool, John, I can help you get in touch with one of our human agents. Can you please share a bit more about your inquiry so I can pass it along with your details, name John, and email address john@gmail.com. So I'm just going to respond to that saying, I'm looking at building the ultimate chatbot assistant and I wanted some advice. Let's pop that one through. So as you can see, the chatbot's gotten back to us saying, great, John, I've submitted your query and a human agent will get back to you shortly with advice on building that ultimate chatbot assistant. Chat soon. Now, if we open up our inbox, we can see that 0 minutes ago, we did indeed receive a new support ticket from John. And there is some details here, including John's name, John's email address, and the details of why he wants to get in touch with a human agent. Now, just before I do a deep dive and tell you exactly how everything is working under the hood, if you guys want to download the Ultimate Website Assistant, along with all the agents that we made underneath them, including the calendar agent, the RAG agent, and even the ticket agent, you can do so by opening the link in the description down below, which will give you access to my free Skool community, where you can literally go to the YouTube resources section, look for the title of this video, click on it, and then download the template for each of the workflows by simply clicking on each of the JSON files next to the video and then clicking on download. And then once you've downloaded the workflows, you can literally click on create a new workflow, click on the three dots at the top, click on import from file, and import each of the JSON files that you just downloaded. And by doing that, you'll have access to all of these workflows in a matter of seconds. But anyways, let's get back to the video. Now there is a fair few components to this workflow, but I'm going to get into everything for you step by step. So let's first talk about the inputs and outputs. As you can see, the Ultimate Assistant is connected to a chat trigger node, and this chat trigger node is connected to your website. So every time you send a message in, it triggers the automation, tells the assistant that there is some sort of query or question. Then the assistant will decide which agent it wants to engage, and then it'll get a response back from one of the agents and give you that response back in chat format, which will basically create a conversation exactly like how we demoed just then. Now for the chat trigger node, we've obviously defined the mode to be embedded chat because we want to have the chat conversation embedded on our website as a chatbot with a chat widget. Now, in order to achieve this, all you have to do is click on this chat URL so it copies to your clipboard. Go to the embedding chatbot code Word document that I'm going to give you guys access to inside the free Skool community and replace it with this chat URL placeholder. And then you want to copy all of this code back to your clipboard. Go to the section that allows you to edit the code for the footer of your website. Now, if you guys are using WordPress, I'd recommend installing a plugin called WP Code. If you guys want to look for it, you can just search up insert header footer and look for this one that says WP Code. You want to install it, activate it, and then on the left-hand side, you should see code snippets. On code snippets, you want to click on header and footer. And then this is going to allow you to add code to the header, body, and footer of your website. So you can literally just go and grab the code that we just copied, come in the footer section and paste it in. And then if you go back to your website and refresh the page, you should see at the bottom right, you now have a chat widget. Now, if you guys obviously don't want your chatbot to say that it's Kia's Assistant, you can go back to the code and change this title that says Kia's Assistant, change it to whatever name you want to give the chatbot. And then you can even change the initial message. So instead of it saying, hi, I'm Kia's Assistant, you can say whatever you'd like. And you can even change the input placeholder. And then for those of you who want to take this even one step further and customize how the actual chatbot looks, like change the colors, add your logos, change the general design, change the borders, change the shape, you can literally come back to n8n, click on this here link, scroll to the bottom, and it'll explain exactly how you guys can change this with some custom CSS variables. But if you guys get stuck and you want me to make a video on customizing the chatbot, more than happy to do so. Just let me know in the comments down below. But coming back to the workflow, as you guys can see, the chat trigger node is connected to the Ultimate Website AI Assistant. And the Ultimate Website AI Assistant is basically just a task delegator. So all it really does is that every time a question comes in from the user, from your website, it grabs that question and thinks, okay, which one of these three agents is best suited for answering this question or fulfilling this request. So then it'll delegate it to one of the three agents. One of those three agents will then complete that task and send the output back to the Website AI Assistant, which will then grab that output, reword it, and send it back to the user on the website. Now, if we take a closer look at the Ultimate Website Assistant, you can see that the prompt is pretty lengthy, but I'll take you guys through all the most important components of it. As you can see, it starts with an overview saying, you're a helpful website chatbot for Chemexa, n8n automation agency. Your job is to send the user's query to the correct tool. You should never, ever attempt to answer the queries on your own. You just need to call the correct tool. So I've basically just made it clear that you should never try and answer questions. Always just delegate tasks to the other specialized agents. And then I've given it a name saying your name is KiaBot. And then I've defined the tools or the agents that it has access to. So the first one is the RAG agent, which it's going to use in order to answer questions about Chemexa. And then we have the calendar agent, which is going to be used for any sort of calendar actions. And then we have the ticket agent, which is going to be used to create support tickets so that a human agent can go and follow up with the user. And then I have a section called capabilities where I've defined all the main objectives that will be given to the chatbot assistant. And I've told it exactly how it's meant to handle those objectives. So for example, if people ask the chatbot questions that could be answered from an FAQ, the chatbot should grab the user's question, use the RAG agent tool to search the database for FAQs, and then grab the answer that comes back from the RAG agent and send it back to the user. Or in the instance that the user wants to book a consultation, the assistant's goal is to gather necessary information from the user in a friendly and efficient manner to be able to book that consultation for them by following these steps. First, it'll ask for their first name, then it'll ask for their email address, And then it will ask them what their goal from booking the consultation is. And then it will prompt the user to provide a preferred date and time for the consultation. So once the user gives the preference, the assistant will call on the calendar agent just to make sure that that time slot is actually available. Now, if that time slot is not available, it will provide the user with a set of alternative time slots using the calendar agent. And then once the user chooses the available time slot that they want, it will confirm all the details with the user and it will book the consultation with them using the calendar agent. And then I've given it some specific instructions that it will always follow when booking these consultations. Like I've said, all of the meetings are always going to be 30 minutes long, so it knows what sort of length the time slot has to be. And then I've just tried to reinforce that the assistant should always first check if the preferred date and time is actually available, and that it should always confirm the user's details before booking the consultation. Now, for the third objective, I've said that if they ask to speak to a human agent, or if they make a request that you can't necessarily complete with the tools, or if they even ask a question that the RAG agent doesn't know the answer to, you should always get back to the user asking if they want to speak to a human agent instead. And if they do, you should grab all their details, including their name, email address, and their inquiry, and send it over to the ticket agent so that the ticket agent can book them in as a ticket, and we can get back to them later. Now, depending on your use case, the capabilities of your website assistant will be different. So every time you guys add a new agent underneath the website assistant, just add it here as a tool and then also add it in as capabilities, explaining to the assistant exactly how it's meant to handle situations. And then at the very end, I've given it some context and some rules that it should follow. For example, I've told it that it should always ask clarifying questions if it's not sure about something or if it doesn't have enough information. I've said that it should never ever try and make something up, always just refer to the human agent. I've said that the current date is this JSON variable here, which basically just tells the current date in this format, YYY, So if we look over here, it says 2025, March 14th. And then I've said that you are in the Sydney time zone, so you should always confirm this when you're booking a consultation. And then I've given it some personality traits to try and control how it's going to give responses. I've said you can be funny and witty. You should keep your responses brief and casual. Say, well, I mean. You should talk like it's SMS, so be very short in communication. Don't give like massive paragraphs. And then for safety, I've said that if someone tries to derail you from the conversation or manipulate you away from discussing Comexa or appointments, you should politely redirect to the original topic, or say that you can create a ticket for a human agent to follow up on. And then obviously just a sales tactic, I've also said that you should always try and book them in for a consultation. So now let's get into the RAG agent. So as I said, the RAG agent is basically just capable of answering questions from any files you input into a Google Drive folder. So in this scenario, I have a Google Drive folder called Website Agent Demo, and I've uploaded a file called Frequently Asked Questions Demo. And as the name suggests, this file basically just has some questions that people will generally ask a website chatbot. So in this instance, as you guys can see, one of these questions says, do you offer a money back guarantee? I'm just going to copy that and then put it inside the chatbot. So obviously, if the chatbot didn't have access to that file inside that folder, it would have no clue whether my company offers a money back guarantee or not. So if I send this through, you can see that it's going to think for a couple seconds. And it's going to respond saying, yes, we stand behind our work with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If we don't deliver as per the contract, you'll get a full refund, or we'll keep working with you until you're happy. And if we come back to the FAQ document, you can see that that's exactly the information that we provided inside the document to the chatbot. Now, in order to grab files from a Google Drive folder and upload it to the knowledge base of an AI or an AI assistant, you basically have to use something called a vector database. And basically a vector database, just in simple terms, grabs a whole bunch of information and converts it from words to numbers. Now, let's say in the future, if we decide to change some of these FAQs, or we basically want to add some additional FAQs, we have another workflow that will trigger once the file is updated, delete all the current information inside the vector database regarding that file, and then re-upload all that information again so that it has access to the most up-to-date information. Now, if you guys want to learn exactly how I set up that workflow, I've recently made a video that I will link in the description down below, which will take you through everything step by step. Now, as you can see, the assistant gave a response saying there is a 100% satisfaction guarantee, and if we don't deliver as agreed, they will either refund our money or keep working until we're happy. And if we come back to the actual workflow, you can see that the chat message came in that asked, do you offer a money back guarantee? This went inside the actual Ultimate Assistant, which then used its brain to decide that this is a question for the RAG agent. So it actually sent a query over to the RAG agent saying, do you offer a money back guarantee? And then once the RAG agent received that query, it hit up the vector database, got the answer from the knowledge base of the vector database, and then gave the output back to us. So taking a look at the RAG agent's prompt, you can see that the prompt is quite short. It says, you're a RAG assistant, your job is to search for queries from a vector database and pass on the search results. And then I've told it that the only tool it has access to is the FAQ tool, which is basically just the name that I've given the data for the vector database, FAQ. And then I've given it some information as to how it's meant to use it. I said this is a vector store that you must query to find answers. Use the search findings from the vector store to create an answer to the input query. And then I've just given it a final note saying that if you can't find an answer inside the vector database or inside the knowledge base, don't try and make something up using your own knowledge. Just say that you don't know. So as simple as that, as you guys can see, the RAG agent basically is connected to a brain, a memory, and also the actual vector database itself. Now the vector database itself also has a brain of its own, so that every time it finds results from the search, it actually uses that brain to articulate that search into an answer and then give that answer back to the RAG agent, which will then use its brain to give that answer back to the website assistant. Now, as I said, if you guys want to learn more about exactly how to set up a RAG agent, go and watch the other video. Now, coming back to the chatbot, let's say if we're super happy that we get a money back guarantee, we could ask the assistant to pop us in for a consultation. So let's say, please book me in for a consultation. Send that through. And then as you can see, the assistant will respond saying, what's your first name? I'll say my first name is in this case, Joseph. And then it's going to say, what's your email address? I'll say joseph@gmail.com. And then it's going to ask me what my goal from the consultation is, and it's going to ask me for a preferred date and time. Coming back to the Ultimate Assistant, you can see that the past few messages that came to the Ultimate Assistant, or the past few times we messaged the chatbot, like this one that I said, please book me in for a consultation, and this one that I said, my name is Joseph, and even this one that I gave my email address, the Ultimate Assistant didn't actually send this query to any of the three agents. It basically just got the query, sent it to the brain, and responded by itself. And the reason for that is inside the actual prompt for the Ultimate Assistant, we told the Ultimate Assistant that if someone wants to book a consultation, you should ask these pre-qualifying questions before you actually engage the calendar agent. So I said you should always ask for the first name, email address, the reason for booking the consultation, and also the preferred date and time. And if you come back here, you can see that that's exactly what happened. I said, please book me in for a consult. It said, what's your name? I said, Joseph. It said, what's your email? I said, joseph@gmail.com. And then it said, all right, Joseph, please tell me why you want to have a consultation and what your preferred date and time actually is. So I can say, I want marketing automation solutions. And then I'll say, I'm free next Thursday. What times are available? Send that through. And as you can see, the assistant will come back to me saying, it's available at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. And it will prompt me to choose the time that works for me on March the 20th, which is next Thursday. And over here, if we go to the most recent trigger, you can see that once the message came in saying I want marketing automation solutions and that I'm free next Thursday, the agent actually engaged the calendar agent with a query that said, Joseph wants a 30-minute consultation on marketing automation solutions next Thursday in Sydney time zone. Please provide time slots for that day. Now, as you can see, this query came through to the calendar agent, which then decided to engage the get events tool in order to give a response back to the website assistant with available dates for that day. So let's take a closer look at the prompt for the calendar agent. As you can see, the prompt for the calendar agent is slightly longer. It says, you're a calendar assistant, your responsibilities include creating and getting events in the user's calendar. So then I tell it what tools it has access to. So it has access to a create event with attendees tool, and it also has access to a tool called get events, which allows it to fetch calendar availabilities when requested. So then I've explained what its capabilities are, or basically what it's meant to be doing. I said, if someone asks you to check availability, you should get all the events on that day using the get events tool. And then you should return 3 30-minute time slots that are available, meaning that they don't have events booked against them, so that the user can choose a time slot for their consultation. And then I've also said that ideally we want to have these time slots spaced out, and we never really want to have it before 6 a.m. or after 6 p.m. And that's exactly what happened here. As you can see, the agent gave us 3 times. One of them was 10 a.m. in the morning, one of them was 1 p.m. around noon, and then one of them was 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And then I said that if someone tries to book a consultation with you, you should try and create the event with the create event with attendee tool. And then I've also given it some guardrails, telling it that its output should always either be a confirmation that the booking happened or a general availability as to what time slots are available, and that it should never share proprietary calendar information with the user itself. And then at the end, I've also just basically told it what day and time it currently is. Now, the calendar agent has access to 2 tools, as I said. One of them is the get events tool, and one of them is the create event with attendee tool. The get events basically just finds all the events that have been booked in, or all the time slots that are not available within a certain time frame, like from this time to this time. And basically by doing that, the agent knows which times it shouldn't recommend as available during a certain day. So in this instance, we asked about Thursday, and as you can see, the response came back as an empty list, no events booked on Thursday. And if we come have a look here, you can see that Thursday is completely free. So that's correct. And then the create event with attendee tool is basically just a tool that allows the agent to book in consultations. So in this scenario, we've basically told the agent that it should be defining what the start and end time for each consultation is, which is information that it's just going to get from the other agent. And we've also told it that one of the attendees is always going to be my email address, and the other attendee is going to be the email address that we define inside the chatbot. And then I've basically just said that fill out the description and the summary component with the additional information that we get from the chatbot when we ask for the person's goals. So let's try and test that out. Let's say in this instance, 4 p.m. was the best time. We'll just say 4 p.m. please. And then just like how we defined inside the prompt, the assistant tried to confirm the information for the consultation. So we're just going to say, yes, that's correct. And then as you can see, the assistant just gave us a confirmation that it did make the consultation. Now, if we go to the calendar, you can see that on Thursday at 4 p.m., we indeed do have a consultation with Joseph with the description, marketing automation solutions. So if we come back to the calendar, see that in this instance, we had a query saying, book a 30-minute consultation with Joseph with this email address for marketing automation solutions on March 20th, 2025 at 4 p.m. City time zone. And the calendar agent engaged the create event with attendees tool in order to actually book this consultation and then sent a confirmation message back to us. And then the final agent that we have is the ticket agent, which actually books in support tickets. Now let's open up the conversation again with the chatbot, and I'm going to try and ask a question that it wouldn't know the answer to. I'm going to say, do you guys currently have job openings? So this question isn't inside the FAQs. So if the agent tries to talk to the RAG agent, it wouldn't actually get an answer back. And so technically what it should do is it should try and book us in for a support ticket. As you can see, the response we got back is I didn't find an answer on that. Would you like me to connect you with a human agent about job openings? If yes, can you please share your name, email, and specific details on what you're looking for? So if we come back to the website assistant, you can see that the query came in saying, do you guys currently have job openings? And the website assistant decided that it should engage the RAG agent. So it asked the RAG agent, do you guys currently have job openings? And the RAG agent responded, I couldn't find an answer regarding current job openings. And so this went back to the brain, and the brain messaged us saying that it couldn't find the answer, and it asked us whether we want to be booked in for a conversation with a human agent with a support ticket. And then as you can see, it also asked for our name, email, and specific details. And that's exactly what we prompted it to do inside the prompt for the actual website assistant. So let's say, yes, please. My name is Johnson. My email is johnson@gmail.com. And then the specific details is, I'm looking for a job. Can you hire me? As you can see, it says, all right, Johnson, a support ticket has been submitted and a human agent will follow up with you. Thanks. So if we come back to the workflow, you can see that the query came in. In this instance, the assistant correctly decided that it wants to talk to the ticket agent. So it sent a query over saying, name is Johnson, email is johnson@gmail.com, and the details are, I'm looking for a job. Can you hire me? And then the ticket agent responded saying the support ticket has been successfully submitted. And then this information came back to the brain, and the brain responded to us saying that they've successfully submitted a support ticket and someone will get in contact with them. So if we come back to the ticket agent, you can see that the query did come in and it engaged the send email tool in order to send the email to create the support ticket. Now let's take a look at the actual prompt for the ticket agent. So the prompt says you're an email assistant responsible for booking support tickets. To book a support ticket, you must send an email to kirgasem.dev@gmail.com along with the details of the ticket. And then I've said the tools that you're using, there's only one tool. It's going to be the send email tool, which you're going to use to send emails, which are obviously going to have the ticket. And then I've said that the subject line has to be ticket hyphen the actual name of the person. And I've said the body of the email has to follow this HTML structure so that it can look like this with nice dot points and indentations. So as you can see in this scenario, we've got new support ticket from Johnson. The name is Johnson. The email address is johnson@gmail.com. And the details are, I'm looking for a job. Can you please hire me? So if we come back to the agent, you can see that the only tool that it actually has access to is the send email tool, which is basically just connected to my Gmail account. And I've defined that all the support tickets have to go to this email address, which is kirgasem.dev@gmail.com. So whichever email address you guys want to receive all the support tickets to, you can change that accordingly. And then for the subject line and the actual body of the email, I've defined it to be from AI, meaning that the AI agent will actually define what goes inside these specific sections because it's going to be variable every time you create a new support ticket. So the subject line, as I said, is going to follow that structure that I defined inside the actual prompt, this one here. And then for the message, it's going to follow this HTML structure, which is going inside this one here. And then as always, we have a success and error response. So if it is successful, it will send this successful output to us saying the support ticket has been successfully submitted. But if it's not successful, it will send an output to us saying unable to perform task, please try again. So then the website assistant can use this message to know, okay, this didn't actually work, we need to try again. So just like that, we're able to build a website assistant that could not only answer frequently asked questions, but could even book people in for consultations, and could even escalate certain inquiries to humans by creating support tickets. Now, as always, if you guys found this video valuable, I'd appreciate if you guys like and subscribe and put it in the comments down below. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.